Scars are proof that a healing has occurred. Today I want to talk to you about scars and stories. And I want to tell you about the story of my scar. This scar here on my neck happened 15 years ago. When I was pregnant with our first baby, my OBGYN had found a lump on my thyroid and the biopsy was inconclusive, so they decided to operate. Thankfully, I'm cancer-free, thank God. But you know, when I was healing from this scar, when I was healing from this surgery, I had a lot of shame. And at the time, I was a cop, I was a special agent, and we wore business suits. And I was ashamed of this scar. I didn't want people to talk about it. So I wore a lot of short scarves and tied it so that people couldn't see the scar or the incision. And I covered it because I was ashamed. I was ashamed because I felt as though I let my baby down. I didn't protect it. Here I am, this big bad cop, and I can't even protect my baby. I was ashamed because I felt as though my body let me down. I was ashamed and angry even at God because I felt like God didn't protect my baby. And today I want to read to you about shame. In Isaiah chapter 61 verse 3, it talks about the beauty for ashes, meaning the good things that happen out of the dirty bad things, like ashes are sooty and dirty. And this is God's heart. God's heart is to give us beauty instead of ashes, gladness instead of mourning, a spirit of praise instead of a spirit of despair. And then if you fast forward 4 more verses, this is what God says, that instead of shame and disgrace, we'll receive a double portion and everlasting joy. Now, many of you already know that that first miscarriage wasn't where it ended. I had 2 more miscarriages after that, before Jacob's birth. And the shame that I had, the grief, the sadness was almost at the point of unbearable. But I want to tell you something. My thyroid healed, and this scar is evidence of healing. And my ability to share this story with you is evidence of emotional healing. So where you see a scar, no healing has occurred. And when you have the capacity to share a part of your story, and I'm not saying all of it and all publicly, but when you have the capacity to share part of your story, know that emotional healing has occurred. You know, people have shame about so many things. And since my passion is to encourage women, I talk to a lot of women. I know there's a lot of women that are ashamed because they had an abortion, that they've been sexually abused, that they're overweight, that they have a shopping addiction and they don't want to talk about it, that they have a lot of fear. They're ashamed that they're single. They're ashamed that they're divorced. They're ashamed that they weren't virgins when they were married. I just have heard it all. And what I want to say is, to that specifically, share your story with someone. Have the courage to share your story with someone. First and foremost, share your story with God. He already knows it because he's been with you. But share the story and release and practice it. You know, the day I shared my story from cradle to that moment with my girlfriend Nancy, I felt a burden lift off. Now, I don't think it's important to share your whole story with everyone, but there's certain people in your life that need to know stories in your life, first and foremost, to protect and safeguard you from repeating past patterns. 2, to show evidence of God in your life. 3, to encourage other people in their walk and their journey and in their joy and in their pain. So today I just want to leave you with, as a scar is evidence of physical healing, the capacity to share your story is also evidence of an emotional and spiritual healing.